Good morning. We're back in the basement tying some flies. I'm Wayne Gravatt with Fishhead Videos. We're going to show you that card. I guess there's been some concern that if they type it up wrong, we end up at the wrong site. And you can also access it by my name. So we got that there as well. So that gives you a couple ways to find it. So we do need subscriptions. We'll talk about that at the end. I've been viewing a lot of videos, and what I found was I coached Little League for 34 years. And I knew nothing about coaching when I started, obviously. But what I ended up doing was when I was watching other coaches, I found as much good from the poor coaches as I did from the really good coaches. So what I did was garnered all of that knowledge, and it helped me as a coach then. And I had 32 years where I had a winning record out of 34. So obviously that was a good philosophy. I think the same is true on these videos. I try to watch 6 or 7 videos a day, and I watch good videos, I watch bad videos, and I'm learning from both. There's good things that I can pick up. And if you ever have comments about what you would like better, we could do better explain things, please let us know on that. That would be really a big help for me. But by looking at a lot of videos, we can gain some knowledge from both good and bad. So with that, let's look at the fly we're going to do today. The name of this fly is the Spook. Years and years ago, when I first started tying flies, there was a fairly famous fly. I live in Missoula. There was a fly called the Missoulian Spook. And actually, Dan Bailey's out of Livingston used to tie this fly. They used to have it. But nobody knows anything about this fly. But I kind of changed it. Now, I have a friend I call the Spook, so that's kind of cool. So I just call this fly the Spook. There's a couple variations. This one, as you can see, has white with fluorescent orange features on the legs and white deer hair. Let me show you the other variation. And this one has a foam tail, and both are good. Both are good with red legs. So, they're both good. Either one, if you have red legs, use red. If you don't, use the other. But it's good either way. So with that, let's take a look at these materials and see what we have today. The thread we're going to use is red 6/0. The hook is a 2x long, size 10. This is the foam if you wanted to use the foam, and obviously you just clip the end into a taper and then use some black magic marker. This is the tail I'm probably going to use today. This is just orange polypropylene yarn. The body is red polypropylene. Again, you could use Antron here. You could dub it. Anything that's red that'll repel water. The overwing is white polypropylene. Again, these are the two variations of the rubber legs. This is just a pearl crystal flash, and that's common in both of them. This is white deer hair, and that's what I like. It's a little harder to find. This is bleached elk hair, and it's a good option you can use as well. But you can play around with this. There's other things. You could use white foam here instead of this deer hair and just pull it over, and that would be fine too. And so with that, let's get going with this fly. Again, I want a nice background, so I'm going to move these things out of my road so I have a nice white background to tie with. Okay. One thing I want to do here that I wanted to show you too. Let's do this. Again, we've talked about it in other videos, the importance of things not spinning. So this is what I do with this fly as well. And you'll notice this not on thin-bodied flies like mayflies, but on bigger-bodied type flies that have a fatter body. This is a great feature to use. It gives it some definition as far as giving it a little more bulkier look, which stoneflies, which this would be a stonefly here. So I'm just going to tie that on top of the shank of the hook, just like that. Nice and secure, and that really gives me a big advantage in terms of things spinning. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this. I don't have a brush, that'll be all right. Okay, trim off an end. And so notice when I tied this in that I'm going to come up here about where the head would be. And again, that gives me some body on here, gives me a little more bulk. And certainly with this polypropylene, it gives me some additional float capabilities as well. So I want the tail about that long, so notice I'm just pulling that out. And the foam you would tie the exact same way, just over the top, just like that. Good. Okay. All right. Another advantage of this fly is hackle has really become, and for people that are tyers out there, boy, hackle is a problem today. It's expensive. It's very, very difficult to find the right sizes. There's lots of small stuff and nothing, hardly anything in 10s, 8s, and 6s. So that is a big problem. Okay, so we're going to tie that red polypropylene right back at that smaller part adjacent to the polypropylene body, the red one, or orange, tail, excuse me, I made a mistake there. Okay, we're just going to wrap that forward. You could dub this, you could use Antron. Okay. So I'm going to tie that off. That. Good. Now, I do need a brush. Let me grab it. Sorry about that. So this polypropylene, it's better to just pull them ends out just like that. A nice square there. Nice square end. We're going to set that in right like that, in that little gap. Bring that back a little bit so that sits flatter on the body, just about like that. And I want that about the length of the end of the tail. A little shorter isn't a big deal. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. I forgot a piece of the... There we go. Got to get this in there. And what you're going to find that no matter how long you've tied flies, you're going to make some mistakes. So that's pretty easily rectified. So let's do that. So we're going to set that crystal flash. Same thing right up closer to the eye. Bring it back just a little bit on top of the body. So that way it sets flatter. Notice how it's not flared up. Okay. Tiny bit long. We'll shorten that a little bit. Now we'll get that polypropylene in there. Wrong end. Okay, so there we go. Again, we want to spay that out a little bit. Set that polypropylene in right. You could use white calf tail here would be another option that you could use. It would be fine. Okay. Nice tight wraps on that too. Okay, again, that length about to the end of the tail. Good. Now, this part is a little bit trickier. I'm not going to kid you. It is a little bit harder. That's why foam here probably is easier, but I don't know. I've always done it like this. But okay. So I'm going to get rid of the short ones and the under fur. put that in the stacker. The other thing on my stacker too, and I've said it in other videos, they build up static electricity. So if you put some baby powder in them, you can really get that stuff to slide down. Sometimes a little bit too much, but that's good. Even up those, grab them by the tips. Okay. Now it's hard to get, you're not going to get the hair out as far as you want with almost anywhere. And you don't even want that with the foam. You would want something short of that. So I'm going to go to the end. Okay, I'm going to trim that off just like that. Now this is a little bit tricky, so I've got it like that. So I'm going to switch hands. Just like that, keeping all the ends even. And I'm going to set that right where the polypropylene starts and the red part of the head starts. Okay, so I'm going to bring that in there just like that. Not real tight wraps here. This stuff is fairly... This is an albino mule deer, if you can imagine that. I don't even know how I got this, but I got a whole hide from a taxidermist. And probably I would encourage you to probably use foam here. The top part of this you're not going to see once you pull that deer hair over, so don't worry if you're using. And you can use just standard elk hair too. Would be just fine. This fly is not cooperating with me here too much. Okay, so now we're going to bring that back just like that. Okay, good. As you can see, that's not going to come all the way out. The hair just isn't long enough to do that. Got some deer hairs here. We're going to get rid of. Good. So now we're going to go with the rubber legs. One on each side. So that's about the length we want right there. So I'm just going to hold that hair down. And we'll trim that in a minute. Not yet. Okay, so these are the two I can get to the same length without doing anything. So that's good right there. Just going to make sure those are in real tight. Come in there with the whip finisher. Just like that. So now I'm grabbing those two on the far side. I want those to the same length. Good. And then that one's the same length, so we know that's going to work. Which it's not. So notice how I'm using those front ones, trying to get those nice and even. Okay, just like that. And that's good. Whoop. Little head cement. And the other thing I do on this fly is I head cement this front part here too. So the red thread under that pulled over deer hair. So there we go. This is the spook. use this fly. You can use this. You can use it. You can drop flies off this. This is a good floater. It's a good one. One thing I want to do here. A good friend of mine has a nephew that watches our channels, and he's not a tyer. He's just a fly fisherman, but he watches everyone. He loves them. So his name's Alan Shatron. So I just wanted to give him a shout out to appreciate that. You don't have to be a tyer to watch these. I mean, if you're going to learn flies, you know, I want you to buy flies, obviously. So, you know, view them, enjoy them. The important thing is, though, is we want you to hit that subscribe button. You know, we're getting lots and lots of views, but not enough subscribes. It's free. It's a win-win. These things cost money. If you want us to continue to do them, you know, we need to offset our costs too. So please view these videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you for viewing, and give them hell.